After watching my Gebura video, a viewer reached out feeling stagnant and directionless. Resonating deeply, I'll share a few tactics that pulled me out of a similar situation over a decade ago. These lifestyle changes were pivotal in honing my crafts and exploring the occult, and if I could go back, I would actually adopt them earlier. While not magic per se, these are essentials for modern practitioners guided by science. I also believe they should be integral to the neophyte and zealot grades related to the earth element governing physical health, performance, wealth, and stability. While embracing them increases your chances of success in navigating life and magical forces, by neglecting them, you kinda shoot yourself in the foot as magic works on what's already there. The earth element is the synthesis of all processes in the tree. No matter how advanced your techniques, your results are ultimately grounded in Asya, the physical realm of action. To keep things concise, I won't be delving into studies as that's all over the internet. What I'll say is do your homework and implement each thoroughly. This will significantly improve your situation in 6 to 12 months, providing direction, purpose, and a new life experience. And while this is not about getting rich quick, you'll also likely be leveraging your talents to get compensated for meaningful work. For those new to my work, I go by the name of POTB. I discuss esotericism, human potential, and creativity. Stick around if that sounds interesting, and if you need magic manuals or diagrams or struggle with hunger, body weight, or discipline, check my books and Etsy store as you'll likely find something useful. Transformation. Sometimes considered a grand and a sudden change, transformation is actually slow and steady, beginning humbly for each. It could be increasing profit, switching careers or starting a business, getting in shape and or cutting out toxic people and or addictions. Rooted in commitment, transformation unfolds gradually. Objective results start with changing your subjective reality. In magic, mastering the pentagram is mandatory before approaching the hexagram. In life, this means taking ownership of your mind and body, including thoughts, actions, and habits. It starts with examining your lifestyle, which basically produced your current situation. The choices you've made so far, quote unquote, manifested it. The good news is that you have the power to change. Yao. In the past, Yao, or birth death rebirth, was one time transformation. Now experiencing Yao repeatedly via regular self reinvention. This aligns with Carol Dweck's notions of growth mindset and lifelong learning, aka permanent education. Similarly, Adlerian psychology does not recognize fixed personality types, but changeable lifestyles and identities. Unlike the school system, which rewards perfect scores, real progress actually stems from feedback and adaptation. It requires agency and adaptability. And as I like to say, agency is king, effort queen, and trial and error is the name of the game. The real threat. Efforts are not free, they actually come at a cost. Investing them into a hard purpose requires optimal mental and physical health. Modern practitioners commonly mistake themselves as quote-unquote victims of religion. For many, this is no longer the enemy. The real threat comes from organizations like Big Food, Big Pharma, and lobbies pushing self-destructive culture in the face of modernity. Medieval alchemists and magicians fought for information. In the information age, our battle is for attention or psychic energy, as Mihai Csikszentmihalyi calls it. And according to Peter J. Carroll, attention is the direct expression of the life force Kia. The more attention you waste, the more life sucks. POTB. INRI. By their 20s, most struggle with obesity, prediabetes, weak character, multiple addictions, lack of purpose, etc. For men, this often includes erectile dysfunction. Either way, society profits by keeping them dependent, working mainly to sustain these very issues. Yet luckily, this is not how it's supposed to be. To the rescue comes modern research and the ageless INRI. Complementing Yao, INRI has multiple meanings including Igna Natura Renovatur Integra or by far nature is renewed. The fire element burns away cancerous constructs and illnesses. Fiery Gebura destroys limiting forms which are not vague obstructions but include the mentioned tissues. One step at a time. Well-being and performance vastly depend on two things: the guf or your physical body and the nefesh or your animal soul which holds instincts and urges. While the mentioned organizations use cutting-edge science to turn both against you, mastering either makes the other easier as they are tightly linked. Action items 1. Substances. If that's you, start by quitting substances one at a time. Begin with the most destructive and illegal. More than removing bad habits, this reclaims your time, energy, and life force. According to MRI scans, all addictions work on the dopamine reward system, whether it's booze, speed, porn, sugar. Once free from heavy substances, dropping lesser dependencies becomes easier. That is why quitting drugs and booze is so powerful. It provides a truly unique momentum and confidence. Let me know if you agree. The 3 basic appetites. Next comes what I consider the gold standard for controlling your nefesh. Although he wasn't a Kabbalist, Napoleon Hill defined self-discipline as mastering the desires for sex, food, and loosely organized opinions, including gossiping, doom scrolling, wasting attention, etc. So let's start with the first. Sex. Sexual energy is one of the most potent forces. If unchecked, it leads to addiction, impulsivity, and basically being a slave to instant gratification. This is why all spiritual traditions or systems emphasize sexual transmutation, redirecting raw desire into productive aims. This isn't about suppression, but reclaiming your life, owning your sexuality, and eliminating cravings and distractions while having more sex with real partners without serving an impulse. As the saying goes, well accomplished people are also well sexed. This dynamic is best reflected in the relationship between Gebora and Netzach in the Kabbalistic tree of life. Netzach's love and sex are associated with the subjective, while Gebora's victory and conquest with the objective. As mentioned in the Gebora video, your elemental energy is closely tied to your sex life, which is ruled by the fiery force. Own and use it as best as you can. Action items 2. Sex. As the NoFap movement's granddaddy, I still recognize sex as the most powerful hack for quitting porn. It creates an anticipation keeping you on track. It stimulates the release of bonding hormones like oxytocin and serotonin, which are very different than cheap dopamine, and the act of surrender makes us human, deepening our connection to others. Alternatively, you can try cyclical celibacy, which alternates periods of sexual intercourse with complete abstinence, no fapping in either. Gurdjieff used cyclical celibacy, while some report it speeds up giving up porn. Feel free to experiment. Food. Being crucial for mastering the nefesh, your relationship with food massively impacts energy, agency, willpower, creativity, focus, discipline, etc. A total elimination diet provides a fresh start, balancing your body and eradicating cravings. By going zero carbs, you switch from burning sugar to ketones derived from fat. Such transition stabilizes blood sugar, enhances mental clarity, and removes the constant cycle of energy crashes. Moreover, it gets your nefesh out of your way by suppressing hunger. Eating only proteins and fats stimulates the production of the satiety signals PYY or peptide YY and CCK cholecystokinin. And as covered in my first book, when injected with these, people and mice stop eating. Action items 3. Food. After going no carb, implement a fasting regimen like the 8-16. As it feels comfortable, begin transitioning to the OMAD or one meal a day. Besides maximizing ketone production, this obliterates hunger, increases metabolic flexibility by making your body very efficient at burning its own stores, and brings a whole new relationship with food and performance levels. Later, experiment with diet cycling. Alternating between no and high carb periods keeps you metabolically adaptive, which is crucial for performance and overall health. Either way, food quality matters. As I've been preaching for a decade, these practices don't just control eating, they foster transformation and higher pursuits. Let me know if you agree. Mastering the information diet. How satisfying is to dismiss and block out any upsetting or foreign impressions and immediately to have peace in all things. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. Like fasting, limiting your time on social media and with email is essential for mental clarity and focus. Implement a window of 1 to 2 hours to stay online and stay offline for the rest of the day. Although I never had issues with it, gaming should fall into that. This allows you to focus on what truly matters. Action items 4. Information diet. Like food quality, an information diet makes a huge difference. Besides limiting exposure to social media, consume content providing practical advice on your journey. Read books you can focus on extensively, training your attention. Appreciate quality art or fiction, stimulating inspiration and your creative imagination. Avoid energy-draining content like memes, influencers, sensational news, show entertainment, etc. Monitoring what you put in your mind is just as crucial as monitoring what you put in your body. Addressing the vacuum. As we know from James Clear, bad habits are not erased but replaced with better alternatives. The covered thus far essentially creates a vacuum. Nature will quickly seek to fill this with its default state of entropy and randomness, bringing old ways and relapses, in most cases. A real identity change requires filling the void with optimal routines, and you can think of this as banishing and invocation, the classic approach to magic. 1. You purify the aspects of your being, and 2. You invoke particular currents and declare an intent. Bodybuilding. Though some will never fathom how deeply mental and spiritual it is, I offer bodybuilding as the base of your pyramid, or as one of the main pillars of your new construction. Frank Zane calls bodybuilding the yoga of the West. Like yoga postures or asanas, bodybuilding exercises actually require breath control and single-pointed focus, which we call mind-muscle connection. It produces undeniable results, but it requires a substantial investment upfront, similar to magic, demanding comparable dedication. Furthermore, bodybuilding is a gateway to self-improvement, entrepreneurship, investing, psychology, philosophy, and relentless skill acquisition. Bodybuilding is a direct way of manifesting your will into the world and experiencing objective results. By sculpting your body, you learn to sculpt your life. POTB. Action items 5. Bodybuilding. Get yourself in the gym. Once feeling comfortable, explore the lives, methods, and philosophies of the greatest of all time, as they were much more than bodybuilders. Serge Nubret, Vince Gironda, Frank Zane, Mohamed Maccabi, etc. Intention. Intentional living starts with journaling. Make a ritual of writing down your daily focus, reflecting on what you want to achieve, how you want to feel, and what actions align with both. Creating a roadmap for your day, this basically grounds your actions. Action item 6. Intention. A simple but powerful variation is using bullet points and the Pomodoro technique to track habits, and to build those, explore tactics like temptation bundling, habit stacking, Primax principle, etc. Learn the limitations of willpower and self-control, aiming for meaningful progress, not mindless overexertion. More on that is in my second book. Ikigai. The previous section raises the question, what habits? The answer is those developing the skills and proficiency needed to live your Ikigai. Translating into reason for being, your Ikigai is the intersection between what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be compensated or paid for. Aligned with Yao and Viktor Frankl's concept of meaning or reason, your Ikigai has different expressions during your life. The key is to identify it in your current stage. The cool thing is that after implementing all covered, people tend to obtain such clarity almost instantaneously. Additionally, use the Ikigai Venn diagram to reflect on your passions, strengths, talents, and interests. See how and where they align with the world's needs as potential income sources. Use the mentioned tactics to build the skills and qualities, turning yourself into the person who can fulfill such a purpose. Telema has the notion of pure or true will, which is often veiled with abstractions like extending beyond incarnations, etc. The Ikigai is tangible, focusing on mastery, excellence, and exceptional skills. This is why Japanese Takumis are often given as the best example of people living their Ikigai. Psychologist Alan Ronald Miller, aka Christopher Hart, defines the true will as your genetic predispositions. Consider him and the Takumis and build the right skills. Action item 7. Ikigai. Start with an hour a day to become a part-time Ikigai of several hours, to turn into a side hustle and perhaps a full-time Ikigai, as recommended by Tim Tomashiro in his book Ikigai. But that's just my opinion. Let me know if you agree, subscribe, check the links in the description, and thank you for your time.